All right, next keynote speech will be addressed by Ms. Sabing Henning, the Chief of the Sustainable Democratic Transition Section of United Nations Economics and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific. She sent us a video message. Let's take a look.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to be part of the proceedings of the 2023 ASEM Forum on the Human Rights of Older Persons. At the outset, I wish to acknowledge the following people. On-hee Chi, Executive Director, AGAC. Hae-kyung Lee, Chairperson of the Board of Directors, AGAC. Sang-hee Kim, National Assembly Member, Foreign Affairs and Unification Committee. Do-won Song, Chairperson, National Human Rights Commission of Korea. And Maria Castillo-Fernandez, Ambassador of the EU to the Republic of Korea. As you know, the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, or ESCAP in short, is a regional development arm of the United Nations Secretariat headquartered in Bangkok. Our work focuses on intergovernmental support, capacity building, and the development of knowledge products. At ESCAP, we have a strong program on population aging. ESCAP convened the Asia-Pacific Intergovernmental Meeting on the fourth review and appraisal of the Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging in 2022. This brought together member states, civil society, and other stakeholders from across the region and resulted in an outcome document. Taking a close look at population aging, we see that many positive developments have occurred and are occurring in the region. Longer life expectancy and declining fertility rates are indicators of progress and improved living conditions. The increasing number of older persons is a testament to the advances in healthcare, technology, and social development that have contributed to a longer and healthier lifespan for people across Asia and the Pacific. The silver demographic dividend presents an opportunity to harness the skills, experience, and wisdom of older people to drive innovation, economic growth, and social cohesion. However, we must also address the challenges associated with population aging, especially those associated with fundamental rights. The topic, older persons and human rights, is of utmost importance. It affects us all. The ESCAP Asia-Pacific Report on Population Aging 2022, which looks at trends, policies, and good practices regarding older persons, notes that by 2050, the region is projected to be home to 1.3 billion people aged 60 or above. Population aging in the region is occurring at an unprecedented pace and requires immediate responses. This is in contrast with countries in more developed regions, where the transition has taken about a century. Given the speed of population aging in Asia and the Pacific, governments will have less time to prepare for its impact. Many Asia-Pacific low and middle-income countries are concerned that these rapid demographic shifts will lower potential gross domestic product growth rates and will hamper development. Thus, they might be growing old before getting rich. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me turn to the human rights aspects of population aging. As many of you know, the open-ended working group on aging was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2010 to consider the existing international framework of the human rights of older persons and identify possible gaps and how best to address them. This has included considering the feasibility of further instruments and measures, such as the Convention on Older Persons. So far, member states are still discussing this topic. Let me point out that from a UN perspective, older persons need stronger protection to fully enjoy their human rights. But the reality is that international legal framework, which should protect everybody without discrimination, still render older persons invisible. We strongly encourage member states from Asia and the Pacific to engage in these discussions in the open-ended working group and move the agenda forward. Let me highlight a few critical areas that demand our attention and fall within the domain of essential human rights and healthcare and long-term care services. The 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights mentions health as part of the right to an adequate standard of living. The right to health was again recognized as a human right in the 1966 International Covenant of Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. More recently, we see that NEPA was adopted in 2002. Later came the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging, which was put forward as a global collaboration aligned with the concluding 10 years of the Sustainable Development Goals. It aids in improving the lives of older persons, their families, and the communities in which they live. In 2022, the outcome document of the Asia-Pacific Intergovernmental Meeting on the fourth review and appraisal of NEPA was adopted. This, among others, called for the promotion and protection of the human rights of all older persons, as well as the ensuring of coordinated, multi-sectoral responses and the mainstreaming of aging issues into national development initiatives. While the frameworks are there, the reality, as noted by the ESCAP report, is that the number of people requiring long-term care is projected to increase from 84 million in 2019 to a very considerable 225 million by 2050. This places an enormous strain on our healthcare systems and necessitates the development of comprehensive and sustainable long-term care strategies. Experience has shown that for these to be most effective, we need robust aging in place and community-based mechanisms and facilities. Investments in healthcare systems, long-term care infrastructure, and age-friendly environments are essential to meet the evolving needs of our aging population. We must encourage active and healthy aging by facilitating access to healthcare, preventive services, and creating opportunities for older persons to engage in meaningful activities and contribute their diverse skills and expertise to society. We must further prioritize the development of comprehensive and inclusive social protection systems that address the unique needs of older persons, in particular, the growing number of older women. We need to foster a culture of respect and dignity for older persons, challenging ageism and strengthening intergenerational solidarity. Promoting active and healthy aging is not only crucial for the well-being of older persons, but also for the sustainability of our society. Encouraging older persons to lead active lifestyles, engage in lifelong learning, and practice and participate in the workforce will contribute to their physical and mental well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, the economic implications of population aging are equally significant to those of health and well-being. Indeed, they're mutually reinforcing linkages. Such is the nature of all the Sustainable Development Goals. A look at SDG 8, for example, shows that this includes a call for full and productive employment and decent work for all. However, the working age population, those between the ages of 15 and 64 in Asia and the Pacific, is projected to decline by 10% by 2050, not least of all due to existing retirement ages and less than favorable attitudes to older persons in the workplace. The demographic shift of having fewer people of working age poses challenges for labor markets, productivity, and economic growth. It also adds increased pressure on pension systems and raises the question of how to develop opportunities for older persons who want to work beyond statutory retirement ages. These impacts are exacerbated by the difference in labor force participation between women and men, with the former less likely to participate in the labor force and more likely to be in informal employment. The implication reasons are that women tend to contribute far less to pension schemes and thus have lower levels of income security in old age. With this in mind, it is vital that we devise policies and measures to foster active aging, address gender issues, encourage workforce participation among older persons, and tap into their skills and experience. Ladies and gentlemen, further concerns that warrant our attention are the prevalence of ageism and other forms of discrimination directed at older persons, and in particular, older women. This calls for concerted efforts to challenge ageist attitudes, promote intergenerational solidarity, and create inclusive environments that value and respect older persons. All stakeholders need to be engaged in this process, especially the media, from where opinions are easily shaped and stereotypes propagated. Traditionally, older persons in Asia and the Pacific have lived with other family members. Although this still holds true in most countries, urbanization, shrinking family sizes, and increased migration are resulting in more older persons, especially older women, living alone. Frequently, outliving their spouses, older women are far more likely to live alone and not age in place. Addressing gender disparities and ensuring gender-sensitive policies and programs is paramount to promoting equitable and inclusive societies for all. Ladies and gentlemen, creating age-friendly environments should be another critical aspect of our comprehensive and rights-based response to population aging. This entails designing our cities, infrastructure, and public services to be accessible, inclusive, and supportive of older persons' needs. We must prioritize the development of age-friendly housing, transportation, and public spaces, as well as ICTs that enable older persons to live independently, participate fully in community life, and maintain their social connections. By using universal design and other inclusive principles, it is not only older persons that benefit. Persons with disabilities, pregnant women, those recovering from injuries, and many others would stand to gain. To address these challenges effectively, we need multi-stakeholder approaches that involve governments, civil society, the private sector, academia, and the international community. Collaboration and knowledge sharing are key to developing innovative and sustainable policies and strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, population aging in Asia and the Pacific is not a distant future, but a present reality that demands our immediate attention. With inclusive, rights-based, people-centered, and responsive policies and programs, the collective wisdom, experience, and potential of older persons can be harnessed to support the building of societies that leave no one behind and are far greater than the sum of all parts. To this end, ESCAP has developed a dashboard of policies on population aging for countries in Asia Pacific. The dashboard is available on the ESCAP website and serves as a resource for countries to share experiences, good practices, and lessons learned. The dashboard is complemented by a dashboard of data on the situation of older persons. The data are based on official UN statistics and are up to date and are crucially important for evidence-based policymaking. Moreover, we have developed e-learning courses on population aging and instructional videos. All this information is available on the ESCAP website. ESCAP also stands ready to support member states and other stakeholders developing strategies, policies, action plans, and monitoring frameworks with a focus on population aging. With that, I thank you for your attention and look forward to hearing more about your deliberations over the next few days. Thank you.